What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActionMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and we're doing It. Welcome to Derry, Season 1, Episode 3. This is a recap. I do recaps my way, or the highway, of, and this has audio description. Well, not the review, but the show, because I'm blind, so I watch things with audio description. It's a thing that translates the visuals in case you're wondering, like, how does he watch the show? Some people just really don't understand, and I get that all the time. Like, wait, you watch film? How? What is a blind film critic? Somebody came at me in the comments one time and was like, can there be a deaf music critic? I was like, I don't know. Why don't we ask Beethoven whether or not deaf people can contribute to music? let's let's get into that. So, yeah, I welcome to Derry. So we start with flashback, and we're watching this kid back in 1908, and I'm like, no, don't ruin the third season. Welcome to Derry, because if you're unfamiliar with the show, they're gonna keep going back 27 years. So season 2 would be somewhere in the 30s, and then season 3 would be like 1908. So we're following this little kid Francis, and he's going into a carnival, which immediately, we're like, Pennywise the clown. I was like, well, this is where Pennywise is going to show up, obviously. Uh, and kind of, there's a suggestion of Pennywise, like they did in the last episode. They keep teasing him, like he's like right there, but he's not there. Francis sees a clown holding balloons, was the description, but I think his face was obscured by the balloons. So it's that thing again. We've done that before. I think that movies did that, where he was hidden behind the balloons for a minute. So, yeah, he goes into the Barker pushes him into this like house of freaks where he sees all these different people and gets kind of spooked by them, and then he runs into his father, and the father takes him out of the carnival. So the kid doesn't die at the carnival. Father won him a slingshot at something, so now the kid has a slingshot. This was 1908. It was a big deal to have a slingshot. When I was a kid in the 90s, I remember having a slingshot and being like, oh my God. And of course, parents are like, if you kill an animal with that slingshot, I swear to God, do not break a window. Like, you couldn't do anything with it. Like, it was just kind of pointless. Like, you were just like shooting at like inanimate objects and trees and stuff because you know, don't kill something, don't break a window, don't shoot somebody's eye out, like all those kind of things. So, but fun if you have one as a little kid to have a slingshot. He gets one, and then the car runs out of water because this is like an old Model T, and I think I don't understand cars. I'm not even going to pretend. The car needs water. I know this is not an unusual thing for cars, but I don't functionally understand why and how. So we're going to move on. I'm a movie critic. I'm not a mechanic. Cars are not my thing, and I'm blind. So why should you expect it to have... So they get the water from the stand. There's a little shop with a nice Indian girl, Native American, of the land. I'm doing a really bad job of this, and he goes. His father gives him an inadequate amount of money to pay for the water, and so the kid trades his slingshot, but in a way gains a friend. And it's through this trade of a slingshot that these two kids will become friends, and we will see them later on. It kind of breaks because it's not like this immediately turns into like a kill sequence. And then we see them kind of frolicking around together, and then there's like they're the forest, and you start getting into the Pennywise, the fear stuff, and there's this. I thought it was like an albino type character. Maybe it was supposed to be a vampire. I don't know. There was a man with who had like pale skin, long fingers, bald, that was in the freak house. He sort of appears again and scares the boy because he was the scariest thing that was in the freak show house. Um, there was like a werewolf, and I was like, "There's no way that there's an actual werewolf in the show, but that would be fun." Uh, and they run out of it, and the girl explains. The girl has actually a pretty good knowledge, being indigenous to the area, of what this is, and that there's some spirit, and it can't leave the woods. Like there's a certain area, a certain range in which this thing goes, and it never goes outside of its area, which I thought was really interesting. Later on, Francis doesn't die. Neither does the girl. Later on, she'll mention something about like how because Francis has to leave because his dad is in the military and he's going to a different base. And the girl will say something like, "Derry has a way." He's like, "I didn't. You promised me you won't forget." And she's like, "Derry has a way of making people forget." So we're starting to explore the history of like what is up with this town a little bit here. And then we see that the girl never left. She owns the secondhand shop. And the boy grew up to be Dexter's father, who is now running the military operation to find fear in the ground. And until he returned to Derry, he didn't have a memory of, he had completely forgotten her, completely forgotten the whole thing, and visits her and didn't even realize she was still around until she had signed a petition to stop the military from messing with their quote unquote burial grounds. So that is how they connected. So that's one part of the story. And both of those characters survive the episode. So we now have adults that are in this. More adults that are in this. We follow the psychic. I forget his name. It's like Walt or something like that. Or Mike or Hank. Hank. It's Hank. That's what it is. So Hank's a psychic, the one that has special privileges. And they get an idea that because they have to get him closer to the thing to try to figure out where it is. So they think that because he actually does experience fear, so they have our lead character that doesn't experience fear and a psychic, and they send them up in a plane, and so that way maybe in the air that there's enough distance between him and the thing that he can use his psychic power. And what he has is he has the slingshot. He has this thing from years ago, and he's using it to find Pennywise, essentially. And so he gets sucked into like a nightmare fuel for him as an adult, which is interesting because we don't really see Pennywise haunt adults that have not been haunted as kids. I think this is a new break for the series that I'm aware of. Like the whole series, like It, the book, and It, the film, It, the TV series. So he experiences fear, almost walks off the helicopter that they're flying in, and but Fearless stops him, and later on, he's recovering in the hospital, and Dexter's father asks him, what is it? Francis asks him, yeah, you're doing a good job up there, do you? And he's like, we're not supposed, he wasn't supposed to know, you know, something like that. Like he has some sort of problem, but he does also ask for a place for him and his friends to hang out that isn't like leaking water all the time. So that's what his friends want him. They're like, if you have special privileges, then why can't we have a place to hang out? I don't know whether or not he'll get it. We didn't get it in this episode. And then later on, he's going to have dinner with Fearless and Fearless's wife, who didn't really have much to do this episode. Just to be honest, she did a lot of sitting around, but they talk a lot about their past. She used to be a school teacher. She also was very active in, obviously, the civil rights movement. But now they're up in Maine, so there's like less of that, and they're on base, so she can't really be politically active. But also, this town doesn't seem to be quite as obviously racist. There's a scene where the two kids, Mike and not Mike, Walt and the little Latino boy that he picked up, whose name I've already forgotten, who I didn't really realize was going to be a major character until this episode. Um, they eat at a like at a grill, like at a diner. It wasn't necessarily mentioned that it was like a specific diner in my audio description, so I'm like, this could be just a progressive town. I don't know that they're eating at, you know, the diner for for colored people. I don't know that that's a thing up here in Maine in this town. They don't seem to have enough people to have one of those. So I think this is just a diner that accepts anybody. Um, so uh, yeah, so that's kind of their storyline, and Fearless finds out that the guy's psychic, Hank, because he can feel Hank in his brain, and he felt it that night when he was attacked. So he knows now that Hank was one of the ones who attacked him, and he wants him to stay out of his brain. And Hank also now knows that the guy doesn't experience fear. So they have they know each other's special powers. Now with the kids, I thought she had been shipped off, and it says that she has, but she's back. It says that they sent her away, and then she came back, but Lily tries to make amends with Ronnie. We do see her father for a little while in jail, and they do this whole like Hatchet Hank's gonna fry, whatever the dad Ronnie. I don't know. I, I can remember her name, but I can't remember anybody else's. Um, her dad is still in jail for something that he clearly didn't do because the town is racist, but yet not racist enough. You know what I'm saying? Like picks and chooses when. Um, so yeah, so she tries to apologize and she says, you know, I couldn't have told them. But I want to make it right. I mean, they sent me to a mental institution anyway, so I want to work with you to figure this out. Like I said, I did what I did because I thought they were going to send me away, but they sent me away anyway. So because it happened again, and I had this thing in the grocery store. So I guess she got let out of the hospital. I don't know what happens to that girl in the hospital. I actually thought she was going to be like, I thought she wasn't going to be real. I thought it was going to be Pennywise. And when that scene started to happen, because I was like, she in the mental institution? Are we going to skip over that? No, she just casually mentions that she was there. And I'm like, okay. So then the two girls ask the two boys, because the young kid, whose name I think is Walt, is the smart one, and they want to know how to develop a photograph because their goal is to try to lure Pennywise or whatever it is, you know, the thing that they saw, to try to lure it out and take a photograph of it because that's the only way anybody's ever going to believe them. So the whole thing is about these kids trying to take a photograph. So the two boys agree to help the two girls, and they go out to a graveyard in the middle of the night. Infinite wisdom, because the little Latino boy mentions Santeria and how his uncle performed Santeria, and that may be what this is, and that they can summon it that way, and that he kind of knows, but then it's revealed that he doesn't really know how to do it. So, but yeah, so they go out to a graveyard at night, and this is where Pennywise's scene happens, and as they're trying to leave, the exit gets further and further away, so they can't really ever leave the graveyard. They're just kind of trapped there, and things kind of swing in and attack them. These different, the three dead kids from the theater all attack, and then Walt has what seems to be a run-in with Pennywise, and is able to take a photo of it. They have this camera, and then they go and they start developing the photos, and then they realize that they did get a photo of some of this stuff. So I don't know how they're going to use these photos in the next episode, if they're going to be able to prove to anybody that they're not crazy. But we'll see. To my knowledge, I don't think anybody died this episode, unless I'm missing something. The kids in the past didn't die. The parents didn't die. Our soldiers are still alive. None of them died. No parents died. No extraneous kids died. Like like the Polly's and Marge? Like, they're still alive. They just weren't in the episode that much. Um, our 4 now new main kids are all alive. So, yeah, it was an episode without death, which was a fresh. I mean, death is all around us in that show all the time. But yeah, it was an episode where I think everybody made it out. So I think it's good. This episode, this show does not need to be operating at a can we top what just happened in the previous episode all the time. Sometimes it actually has to work on developing the characters and building out the story and building out the world. So because inevitably, the reality is that the audience is already predisposed to believe that because it's a prequel that none of these kids will live. So yeah, might as well. So because these are not the kids that defeat Pennywise, so we know who those kids are. They're the Losers Club, so they can't be. Anyway, I like the episode. I don't know, I'm somewhere between like an 8.5 and a 9 on the series, but I'm not reviewing it yet for Rotten Tomatoes. So excellent audio description. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.